Hi, Ted. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm so excited to have this conversation about what it's like to be an empath.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to give some information.
Awesome. So, for those listening, let's tell a little bit about yourself, where you live, and what you do.
Okay. Um, I'm from Columbia, Maryland. Originally born in Haiti, and right now I'm an insurance agent. I work for Mika. I help people with their car insurance, life insurance, whatever kind of insurance. I essentially talk on the phone all day with people and help them with their problems. So it's fun.
Perfect job for an empath. So, tell me, when did you realize that you were highly sensitive? How old were you?
I was very young. Um, I was very young, like I would say elementary school or maybe like sixth grade or something. So I guess maybe 10, 9.
Wow.
The kids around me were very, I would say, desensitized because these are like kids who usually came from like rough backgrounds, And for me, so for them, they were never like sensitive. So for me, I was super sensitive compared to everybody around me. So I already knew.
Yes. Yeah, that would be an easy way of there's no doubt.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. So, did you have anyone in your family or your inner circle who either was sensitive or was intuitive or helped you to articulate what was going on? Or not really? Were you alone for a while in this?
I mean, I was alone for a very long time. Like, obviously, I had supporters, like my sister, who is more sensitive than other people who I usually meet, but she still wasn't like, she's not like highly sensitive or even really knew about that kind of stuff. But she was always like supportive of me. She wouldn't understand why I was so upset about certain things or what I was feeling, but she would care enough to at least listen. So I had that, but for the most part, it was really just me.
And how did that show up as a child in your relationship with your parents? Did you end up filling that role as the parental figure throughout growing up because of being sensitive?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely had to learn like how to. I had to know what was going wrong with me and not learn to depend on my mom to like figure out what's going wrong because I know she's not gonna get it. So I had to definitely train myself. I didn't meet my dad till I was 12, so I definitely had to like figure out the masculine energies and the female energies and figure out what I was missing within myself and just try to find it in the world, I guess.
And tell me a little bit about that journey, about like the finding that balance and finding out how to put up those boundaries, energetic boundaries.
Mm,
I can be more specific if you want. Do you want me to be more specific?
a little.
Okay. Have you learned how to differentiate between your energy and someone else's energy when you are in the same room with another person? And if so, what is your untangling process? So, in other words, how did you learn how to separate your energy from someone else's energy? You may not have a defining moment. It may just be something that you kind of learned as you went.
It's very it's very vague. Even the way I do it is a very vague process, right? But I'm aware that it's not my energy to begin with, and I'm like, okay, so what is the source? Like, so if it's like me and another person in a room, and I'm feeling some emotion, and I'm like, where is this coming from? I'm like, well, what did I do today? I did this and that. So what would lead me to be feeling like this? And I was like, maybe this person has something go on in their day or their experience that has them still holding on to this. And I just try to make it make sense to me first. I try to figure it out. I try to identify it. I try to make sure that I'm okay. Like, I'm good despite how I'm feeling. Am I okay? Like, am I actually okay? Am I just hungry? So
Yeah.
it's a lot of things. It's just really like looking for the cues. Energies have certain signatures, and the more you like go around energy, the more you realize there are a lot of different signatures for different energies. So you get good at like recognizing which ones are yours.
It is so true. It's like a voice, right? Like you learn someone's voice and it doesn't matter how far away they are from you. If you talk to them on the phone, you know who they are. They don't have to tell you who they are. And energy is that way too. And I had a conversation with another empath today. We were talking about that, and just that, like, even for me, sometimes it happens where like I'm just going about my day and I feel someone else's energy come into the room. And in that moment, it's sort of like, okay, something shifted in my energy. No one's around. I'm by myself. So I know that, like, but I know that what I'm feeling is not mine. So whose is it? Do you ever experience it with strangers? Like, do you have things come over you and you like know what's going on with someone outside of, you know, your inner circle? And also, do you ever act upon that? Do you ever go up to people and like share things with them as you're being led?
Yeah. And I used to be really intentional about it when I was younger. Like when I was like going to like community college or even a little bit in the military, I would like come across these individuals and I would just be able to feel like there was something in them or around them that they were just looking for or still missing, right? Something in their energy. And for some reason they weren't able to move on because they wasn't realizing it, right? But here I am looking at it. And I was a little bit selective because sometimes it was draining for me to go over there and like essentially give this person this piece that they're missing. But what I would do, sometimes I wouldn't have to speak to them at all. Sometimes I could just send them something, right? And that's what they needed. Other times I would go and speak to them, introduce myself, and just have a conversation. And through that conversation, I would make sure the dialogue was giving them what they needed. Like I would find a way to make sure like we could have a conversation about, but I wouldn't tell them outright what was going on because that would ruin it.
And that's one of your gifts, is having, like, one of your gifts is having the wisdom of knowing like the discernment of other people and being able to give them the words that they need without it being like, if it came from someone else, right, it may be like, whoa, but like the way that you bring it to them, they're able to fully digest it.
Realize it themselves. Exactly.
Yeah. And as you were saying that about like sometimes you don't physically tell them, I just got full body goosebumps. It's like you send them the energy that they need. And as energy healers, like we never do energy work on someone else without their permission. We can send people energy. We can send people love. And as growing up, I still do this sometimes, but just like if I'm walking down the street, I will visualize like confetti falling out of the sky as divine love, and it's just flowing over people, and I can see how they respond to it too. Like some people are like, and then other people are like, get that off me. And what's cool about sending people divine love is that if they are not receptive of it, if they don't want it, they don't take it. Like you send it and you've done your part in sending it to them.
It almost feels like a suggestion, you know, that they're open to, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yep. Like, do you want to go deeper?
Yeah.
So if you had to explain what it is like to be an empath to someone who is on that opposite end of the spectrum, who's not empathic, how would you explain it? How would you describe that?
It would be very hard to make someone who's on the opposite end of the spectrum understand, because it's like people are so, I was going to say people are so grounded in like the physical and material world, right? So it's hard for people to understand these loose concepts. But when you're on the spectrum that, you know, me and you fall on, it's so obvious to us. And it's almost like, how do you not feel this? So for me to, sometimes when I'm trying to like explain to one of my friends, like how I feel sometimes about something that they think is crazy, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes you can't make people understand. Sometimes you have to make them feel you, you know, or show them like proof. People want proof, but this proof isn't even, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Once in a while, whenever I have someone who's, I mean, I don't like to work with people who are skeptical. That's not the clients that I bring in. But sometimes just in my inner circle, like I'm having a game night and there's, you know, a couple over, and the husband is like, when he hears what I do, super skeptical, and like, and he's like, okay, well, do a reading on me, or like, tell me what do you pick up on my energy, you know? And I do, and it's crazy, like, because it's like at that point they're like baffled, and they're like, okay, well, now I have to believe, because like you just literally.
No duh.
Yeah. Yep. It's interesting because it's just, I guess one of the ways that I describe it, it totally depends on the person who's coming to me, but it's sort of like our feeling, or like our physical feelings, right? Like our physical senses. We have touch, we have taste, and some people have a stronger sense of taste and they're able to pick up on different things more strongly.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the same way, you and I are, we have like our intuition, which is very strong, and the way that we feel about other people, like that sense is very, very, very strong.
Very strong.
Right.
Yes.
And so just kind of explaining it that way has been helpful to some people, because like they understand what it's like to, like the taste
something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. People need to relate. Yeah.
Yeah. Finding that common ground. So what is your favorite way to decompress and re-energize after spending time with people?
Showers. Showers are great. Showers are very peaceful for me. They've always been since I was a kid. Like before I even knew about like being an empath or anything, I always drawn to the water. I used to spend hours in the tub, just just playing in there. Felt very safe. Water in general. Outside of that, walks, sitting in the sun, looking at the sun, things that bring me peace,
Yes. Yeah. And there's something about like being in the sun where it's like you can feel the rays hitting you and you can just visualize all the energy that doesn't belong to you slipping off. And it's so helpful. Yes. And showers, I think that's like hands down. If you're watching this and you're a new empath and you're wondering how to start, when I say new empath, I don't mean that you're a new empath. You've been an empath your whole life, but you're new at creating these boundaries. One way to start is to start visualizing the energy flowing through you when you're taking a shower, and any energy that's not yours falling off of you. It's so powerful. Like, you can't underline. It's
very powerful.
Do you have? Oh, go ahead.
I was going on the shower thing. For me, or for anybody who's an empath, I feel like sometimes we don't use our gifts enough for ourselves as willingly as we are to use it for other people, right? So for empaths, we're amazing at visualization and manifestation. So you can get really focused in the shower and really imagine like this stream of water coming down you and taking away everything that you think you're carrying, and that's gonna be your reality. You're that powerful.
Yeah. It's all about stepping in, and you underline something that's so essential to talk about, and that is that giving time for you, because as empaths, like, you're so focused on helping the world. And one of the questions I wanted to ask, which kind of goes into this, is, where is it? Oh, what do you think your life purpose is as an empath, or like as a collective? What do you think our purpose is as an empath? And kind of like my thought is, we're put here to help other people heal through, now this is the part that a lot of empaths miss, through our own healing. It doesn't happen if we don't do our own healing. The only way that we're able to help the collective, to help other people, is when we start doing the healing, because one of our biggest gifts is that of other people being attracted to our energy, because they can feel that we can help them. And so as we start healing ourselves, then we are able to leave a trail for these people who are following us.
Yes. And I'm still learning this myself, but I'm trying to like realize more that it's not even like about me going out of my house and trying to find the next person on the street that I can help. Going back to what you were saying, it was like really just doing the work for myself so I can be a person that is naturally helpful to other people, right? So if I'm good already, anybody around me is going to be good too, because I'm just in a better place and I have more energy to give,
Yes. Yeah, it's so true. So how has being an empath showed up in your job? You mentioned earlier that you were in the Army, and I feel like as an empath, like it would be a hard place to be in. So tell me about that, about your current job. Like, how has, just in general, how has being an empath impacted your day-to-day work life?
When I was in the military, it was very difficult being an empath. there was not much empathy. It was something that I really couldn't speak on. I mean, even before the military, I didn't have people to talk about it to, but I was at least able to still express myself in whatever way I wanted to. But in the military, I really had to, and it was so awkward for me. Like, it was so opposite for me to be doing this, it felt like, but I had to desensitize myself. And I had to like teach myself to stop feeling. And that's insane for an empath. That's insane. Like, so it was very difficult, and that damaged me coming out of the military, because I'm still working on that. But now I feel like this job's almost healing me in a way, because my job is literally to listen to people and try to help them find a solution. And I actually love it. You know, sometimes it does get a bit overwhelming because it's still energy that's coming through the phone. But at the same time, you're still doing the work, interacting with another person and making somebody else's day better. And I think some of my coworkers get a little jealous of how like easily I can connect to somebody on the phone. Like they love me on the phone. And I think that's a lot of, mostly due to the reason I'm an empath. I just know how to talk to people.
Yep. You get into their energy. It's
Yeah.
so true. You're talking about this, and I had a job as a guest service agent in Yellowstone National Park. Best job ever, because I got to like go hiking every single day after work. And during that time, like my job was to help these people who were coming in to stay at the park, who were staying in these cabins that were super, super expensive because it's like in a national park, but they're really old, right? And falling apart. And so they were coming in and they're so angry. Like pretty much everyone who comes in is angry because they're paying so much money. There's no Wi-Fi and they want Wi-Fi, and you're like, but you're in a national park, you know? But anyway, and so my job was literally all day to work with these angry people and to help them. And my manager was like, you can comp as much as you want. You can give as many compensations as you want to these people. And it was the best thing ever, because literally my favorite job ever, because all day I got to, like you said, just like feel their energy, realize where they were at, and realize where I could shift them to go, you know. And so they ended up having such a good experience after coming in being so angry. And I was the person that was representing their air, like they were rage, you know, and they're coming in at me, and then I have to like deflect and send them away happy. And I think as an empath, having a job like that is really, really rewarding.
It is, because you have this sense of like just knowing like this would have been a really bad outcome had I not been the one on this phone.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Very true. Okay, so I'm going to ask two more questions. I'm trying to figure out which ones, because there's so many questions. Wish we had more time. Let's say you're going through your day and all of a sudden you feel a shift in your energy. How do you recognize in your body that it's someone else's energy?
First thing I do, I like to put my hand in my chest, you know, because I feel like that's where I really am, you know. So if I stay still and I just feel myself, you know, and I see what's going on, and I'm able to recognize that it's not me really, you know, because I know what I carry. Like I know what I carry on the day to day. I carry this. Okay, that's Ted. This is Ted. Wait, this is not Ted. You know. So if it's something like that, I'm gonna feel it. Or sometimes I'm not even aware, because I might be in the moment and I might be acting out on those feelings that aren't mine. And then I might catch myself in a moment like, wait, I wouldn't be doing this normally. I wouldn't be this upset about this normally. What's going on? Let me ground myself, you know, and see what's inside.
Yes, that's such a beautiful exercise. I do that too. I don't even think about it. Like as you were saying that, I was like, what a beautiful response to that question. Like I do it, I don't even think about it. Like, you know, putting my hand on my heart
natural.
and connecting to you. It's like just going back to you. And once you've connected to yourself, then it makes everything else clear. And I think there are people who are still learning how to find their energy, right? Like I know I went through that for a long time. Like I didn't always know what Lydia energy felt like, you know? So if you're listening to this and you're like, but how do you know what my, like, how do I know? Well, it's a process, and give yourself grace.
Yes. It's a process. You got to be super forgiving with yourself.
Yes, yes, you do. What words of wisdom would you like to give any empaths who are watching this and are overwhelmed by their sensitivity and they do not see being empathic as a gift? I should say they don't see it yet, because they're going to. They just haven't seen it yet.
Biggest thing, and this is just what I would have loved to have been told, you are not alone whatsoever. You are not alone. And that is so huge. Because, and I know as an empath, we can feel like everything is on our shoulders and there's nobody who understands. And that's so, it can be very alone, but you're not alone. You have me and you have Lydia and a whole world of other empaths who are probably feeling how you do. So understand that you're not alone, and everybody has to do the work before they can go and serve others. So whatever you're going through, that's just a part of the process, right? But if you keep moving, you keep learning, you keep growing, you get better. You get better, and it gets better. It gets fun. You start loving yourself for what you're able to do for others.
It's very true. Amen. Amen to everything you just said. Yes. Thank you so much, Ted, for having this conversation with me. It's been so beautiful.
Thank you for having me. I'm honestly honored for this. Thank you.